Okay, let's visit the character Little Red from our story, Little Red, retold by Pam Sheeler and the illustrations by Diana Magnuson. Boy, this little girl, she does really use her senses to help learn about her environment, all the things around her. So I think Henny Penny would learn a lot from Little Red and maybe her friends as well. All right, so let's revisit this book looking at how she used her senses, her five senses of eyes to see, nose to smell, ears to hear, mouth to taste, and hands to feel to problem solve. Okay, Little Red. All right. Well, once upon a time, there was a mother and a little girl, and they lived in a little cabin. And the girl's mother made her daughter a beautiful hat from red wool. Well, the little girl wore it every day, and everyone called her Little Red. So that was her name from now on. Well, one day, Mother said, "Make some goodies," and said, "Will you take these to Grandmother, who lived across town? You'll have to go through the woods, but Grandmother is very sick." And Little Red said, "Of course I will." As she was walking through the woods, she came upon a wolf, and he asked her where she was going. Well, she didn't know he was dangerous, and not a very good choice, not a safe choice here, guys, huh? She talked to a stranger. She told him exactly where she was going. "I'm going to see my grandmother, who lives behind the movie theater." "Well, I'll go see her too. I'll go this way and you go that way, and we'll see who gets there first." Oh boy, you know his plan. Oh, here she goes using her senses. Little Red took her time. She stopped to smell the pretty dandelions with her nose. She listened to the singing and chirping of the birds with her ears. She lay down and watched the clouds dance across the sky with her eyes. Little Red loved the way the sun felt on her face. Oh, that's using her sense of touch. She sat down on a rock and ate one of the apples her mother had placed in the basket. Ooh, she's using her sense of taste. The crisp, tart taste of the fruit filled her mouth with the nicest sensations. Of course, here that wolf is. He's going to Grandmother's house and he beat her because he didn't mess around. He didn't stop and use his senses. Excuse me. Oh, there he goes. He's going to trick poor Grandmother, who is sick in bed. He acts like he's Little Red, and she said, "Come on in." She didn't use her sense of hearing, did she? Well, he tied her up. He tossed her in the closet, took her nightgown, put it on, climbed into her bed, and he waited for Little Red. Well, Little Red, pretty soon, she comes and she knocks on the door. Tap, tap, tap. "Who's there?" cried the wolf, again disguising his voice. Little Red, hearing the big voice of the wolf, was worried. She thought to herself, that cold must have made Grandmother's voice hoarse. You know, like when you have a cold and your voice kind of sounds like this, a little bit lower. "Well, it's your granddaughter, Little Red," the wolf cried out to her, softening his voice as much as he could. "Come in, sweet child." Little Red opened the door and headed straight to her grandmother's bedside. As she got close to the bed, she was frightened. Her grandmother didn't even look like herself. The cold had made her eyes look strange, and her nose was several times its normal size. She's using those eyes. Thinking that her grandmother's ears must also be stopped up, she moved closer and said in a loud voice, "Grandmother, you don't look like yourself. What big eyes you have!" "All the better to see you with, my dear." Thinking her grandmother may be able to see her very well, Little Red moved in a little closer, and she noticed the grandmother's sweet powder smell was missing with her nose. "Grandmother, you don't smell like yourself." "It's the eucalyptus I use for my cold, my dear." Little Red then reached for her grandmother's hand, but the wolf's paws didn't feel at all like her grandmother's soft hand. It was rough and coarse. Oh! Immediately, Little Red let go. She moved in a little closer and surveyed her grandmother's face more carefully. "Grandmother, what big ears you have." "Oh, the better to hear you with, my dear." "Grandmother, what big teeth you have." all the better to eat you up, growled the wolf as he jumped from the bed and attempted to grab Little Red. Little Red jumped away in the nick of time. Thankfully, the wolf, in his haste, he got all tangled up in Grandmother's nightgown. He tripped and fell flat on the floor, bumping his head as he hit the ground. He was knocked out. Little Red pulled her cell phone from her pocket and she dialed 911. And after she told the operator what had happened, she began to look for her grandmother. She glanced around the room and her grandmother was nowhere in sight. So she tried to look for her with her eyes. Then Little Red sniffed the air. But there was no hint of Grandmother's sweet powder, only the smell of eucalyptus. So she's used her eyes and her nose. Then Little Red stood still and listened quietly in hopes of hearing her grandmother with her ears. Aha! What was that? She was sure she heard someone knocking. She used her ears to follow the sound and ended up by Grandmother's closet. She opened the door and there was Grandmother. Little Red untied her, hugged her, and helped her back to bed. As Little Red watched the animal obedience school officer haul that wolf out to the wagon, she thought to herself, I sure learned an important lesson today. I will always trust my senses. That wolf didn't sound like my grandmother. He didn't look like my grandmother. He didn't smell like my grandmother. And he didn't feel like my grandmother. He was an imposter. My senses told me that. The end. Wow. Boy, Henny Penny sure could have used Little Red. Maybe they'll get together. Let's use our senses and see how you do. All right. I have some items here. I'm going to cover them up. I've covered them up. I'm going to uncover them, and you tell me if all the items are the same or different. Ready? I'll give you just a little time to look. Boop. Were they the same? Were they different? If you said one was the same, did you remember that there were 3 muffins and a donut? The muffins are the same because they're all muffins. The donut is different. All right, let's try it again. All right, ready? I'll cover those up so you don't see those. All right, let me get it up here closer so you can see. All right, ready? Oh. And were they the same or different? There was one that was different. We have snake, 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 and spider. That's kind of a scary looking thing, huh? Especially if it's in with your food. That's one way of observing your environment with your senses. All right, what about this? I'm going to make 2 sounds. You tell me, are they the same or different? Wait, I probably have to get this one up. All right, ready? Here's sound 1. Sound 2. Same or different? If you said different, you were right. On this one, I banged on a wooden block, and this is a triangle. Isn't that a pretty sound? Definitely different. So you can hear different things with your ears, and are they the same? Are they different? All right, now let's problem solve together by using our eyes. And I really feel like Henny Penny should have done this. So I have a glass, a clear glass, okay? And I'm going to get this tray because you know Mrs. Reed's messy, so we'll put that there so if I make a mess. All right, so we're going to fill this cup completely. Are you ready? Until it is full. So first I'm going to start with water. So let's pour the water in there. Let's see if I can let you see it. Okay, is that full? It looks full, doesn't it? All right, put a little bit more. Is that full? I think that might be, but you know what? Let's just kind of, it looks like it, right? But remember in Henny Penny, we learned that sometimes things are not as they first appear. Okay, so let's watch this. I'm gonna take some rocks, okay? And let me see. Let's put some rocks in there and see if they'll fit. Hey, I could fit rocks in there. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Wait a minute, that wasn't full. What if I add sand? Do you think sand would fit in there? I don't know, guys. It's pretty close to the top. Do you see that? What do you think? Do you think it will go? Let's see. Let's put some in there. Guys. Oh my goodness, let's put some more. It still went in there. I thought it was full. Now remember, full means that every space in the cup is filled. Wow. Okay, I should have got a spoon. Uh-oh. I think it's almost full. I think it is full. Guys, we did use our sense of sight and we did look. And we thought it was full, but we could still fit things in there. How was that to be? Now let me show you something different. And you can try this at home. You'll have to have water, a glass, and rocks and sand, okay? Put the rocks in first. So fill it up as much as you can with rocks. I mean, as much as you can. Okay, now guys, that looks really full, doesn't it? Ooh, I don't know. Let's see if we can add some sand. Boy, I should have a cup. Oh, maybe I can do this. All right, ready? Hey guys, wait! Do you see that? Hold on. Did you see that sand? I'm going to move that down. The sand? Oh my goodness. The sand is going down in there. I think I can fit more, guys. Okay. I really thought that was full. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Okay, guys, now that has to be full. What do you think? Oh my goodness, that is heavy, guys. Do you think it's full now? Okay, it looks full to me. Let's try water. Oh, Mrs. Reed, I'm glad I've got this little thing. Oh boy, are you ready? What do you think? Do you think I can fit water in? Okay, let's try it. Yes? No? Okay, here we go. Guys, watch the water. Oops, I spilled. Do you see the bubbles? Guys, the water is going to... Remember, full means that every space is filled. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness, look. Watch this. I hope I don't make a mess. Oops. Look at that. Do you see where it's going? In between the rocks, there are cracks. The sand goes down, and in between each of the sand little grains, there's holes. I can actually fit more water in here. Can you imagine? How amazing is that? You try. Put the water in first and then the sand and the rocks and then put the rocks in, sand, and then water. That's amazing. Wow.